foot and a sliding tackle by former SKC man James Musa to bail Phoenix out that time. So the goalkeeper, Ben Lunt, brought in from FC Cincinnati, signed on January 24th, comes up with a big save. Logan Ndembe just took down one of the Phoenix Rising players as play on continues up the field. Repetto plays it back where a shot sails wide of the target for the Phoenix Rising. A flurry of action in the first 90 seconds here, Jacob.
Seriously, what should I start with here? I mean, first off, that ball, that combination play from Daniel Shallowy and Kyrie Shelton, a little slipped in pass there from Daniel, found Kyrie. That's something too, Nate, to keep an eye on, right? The number 9, obviously, Alan Polito being out there. Kyrie Shelton's had a great preseason. I think if you ask all the players, Kyrie's really going to try to make that role his own up there and stake his claim, and he can do a little bit of it all, but right there, got in a good spot. Good save, though, in the end from Ben Lunt.
Now Sporting Kansas City trying to play out of the back here, and you see Uri Rosell combining with Roger Espinoza, playing out that number 6 position that he made famous with Sporting Kansas City during his first stint in Major League Soccer. Uri, one of the big offseason acquisitions for Sporting Kansas City, filling in for Ilie, one Barcelona Academy guy for another, and a guy who obviously knows that position incredibly well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say filling in, right? Of course, right. Ilie was a great player for the club, a good leader, great human being, Nate, as we always talk, but he was a great player out there on the field, and he did a lot of good things for Sporting. Now he's off with LAFC, who have made a lot of good moves as well. I'm excited to see their team here, and I think Ilie is going to be a big part of that. But Uri has been here. He knows the system. He's so good on so many levels.
It's a good turn by Shelton, and he plays it to Johnny Russell onto that left foot. A couple of defenders right in front of him, and it's taken away in the end by the Phoenix Rising. That was Tate Schmidt, I believe, defensively for Phoenix as they try to make it the other way. Play's going to be called back into the midfield for a foul. 3 minutes in, and Kyrie Shelton starting up top for Sporting KC with a couple of good actions.
Yeah, you see his feet right there. You called it out, but a great little turn there. Something that Kyrie has, and maybe we haven't seen enough of that, him taking upon himself to make those passes, to play. He's not going to be the same player as Alan Polito was up there. Everybody knows Kyrie wants to stretch teams and get in behind in the channels, and there's just no way to emulate his physical qualities. But one thing that Alan Polito loved to do is come back and be a playmaking number 9 type, that hybrid, a 9.5 type of player. Kyrie has that ability at times. He just has to have the confidence in himself, and all the players do, the coaches do. So I'd expect Kyrie Shelton to really grow that part of his game this season.
Well, to run down the starting 11 for you for Sporting Kansas City here today, Tim Melia is starting in goal. The back line from right to left is Graham Zusi, Nicholas Isimat Mirin, and Andreu Fontas. Then the newcomer Logan Ndembe at the left back position. We talked about Uri Rosell, who is starting at the 6 for Sporting KC, the defensive midfielder spot. Roger Espinoza and Cam Duke are the attacking midfielders. And then the attacking trio from right to left is Johnny Russell, Kyrie Shelton, and Daniel Shallowy. So I think we coming into the season expect Russell, Shelton, Shallowy to be the starting trio up top for Sporting KC. Ever since the news came out that Alan Polito will miss most likely the entire season because of off-season knee surgery, that back line might be about what we expect as well, with Ndembe battling with Ben Sweat. We might see Ben Sweat later in the game here today. I think Uri Rosell, who you see distributing the ball to Ndembe on the left-hand side, is expected to be there in the defensive midfielder role. But with Espinoza and Duke starting in the attacking role, we'll point out Remy Voltaire is back in France sorting out green card issue as he had to leave camp to do that. And, of course, Scotty Kinda is expected to miss maybe the first couple of weeks of the season. He's nursing a knee injury as well. So we could see other guys. But apart from that, this fairly representative of what you might be looking at is very close to what might be the starting 11 on opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is really one of the first few games. Yes, there are some names missing. That happens throughout preseason. But I think this is the main group. And like I said, now they're going to get – they've had 2 good performances against Colorado and against Portland, where they played 45, put together really good performances, keeping the ball, and then that Portland game got 2 goals. but this is going to be that first one where you're pushing your bodies a little bit. So that's something that right now guys are still going to be flying, feeling good, but it's in that second half, those first 15 minutes or so, to see how these guys, even if that means making an unnecessary sprint or something like that, just try to increase your physical load, because regular season's coming up here quick, Nate.
February 27th, the regular season opener at Atlanta United on FS1. So opening up with an interconference game against an Eastern Conference foe to start this year. The schedule this season going to be a little bit different than it was last year, with 34 games as normal, but 26 of those games will be against Western Conference teams. That's a symmetrical number this time around. There's going to be 14 teams in each the East and the West in Major League Soccer, with Nashville moving to the Western Conference, joining Sporting KC there, and newcomers Charlotte joining the Eastern Conference. That means Sporting will play 13 home games against every team, and they'll play one game against every team in the West, which means 13 home games, and then they'll play one away game against every team in the West as well. And then they'll fill out the rest of the schedule with some interconference games, and they start the season that way in Atlanta. There is one more preseason friendly for Sporting KC before that time. That comes up on the 19th against Toronto FC, and that'll be in Austin, Texas. We're working on their trademark ability to play out of the back, and Phoenix providing some pressure here, and a foul called against Darnell King of the Phoenix Rising, but that's what Sporting want. They want Phoenix step up the pressure here so they can work on some of that right now.
Yeah, and little glimpse right there of a piece of skill from Logan Ndembe. He's a player who, being down here since Tuesday night, I've only seen him train maybe 3 or 4 times, but each time he impresses me. And whether it's his physical ability to get stuck in, he likes contact, which as a winger myself, playing most of my career, I would have hated to play against him in the way that he gets in, but he's also loves to get into the attack, and he's got that pace and that fitness level to get up and down, and he's got that technical ability. I'm really excited for this signing, but it's going to take a little while, right? As we talked on the Sporting Kansas City show, that relationship with Daniel and how he's going to build that moving forward.
Good work from Njai from the left back position up the left-hand flank to Moar for Phoenix, who has it now, but he's dispossessed by Cam Duke, and Sporting Kansas City are able to snuff out the run up the left-hand side by the Phoenix Rising. Now here is Ndembe, bringing it across the halfway line. Fontas, who was a rock on the back line for Sporting last year, now Isimat Mirin, who, when he played, was really good, but had 3 different stints on the shelf dealing with recurring hamstring injuries last year. I'm sure he's anxious to get off to a healthy start in 2022. Here is EC right now. Now Zusi. Back to EC.
Just speaking on EC, Nate, after this one.
Fontas over the top to Shallowy, and the offside flag comes up as Shallowy puts it in the back of the net.
Hey, first, I don't care if that offside flag went off. That was incredible technique, first from Daniel, to bring that down. Yes, the goalkeeper stopped, but 2, a good finish. Just shows you that maybe a little of that confidence and that form that Daniel had last season is going to carry over into this 2022 season as well.
Now Shallowy intercepting a pass. Receives it back from Espinoza. Tried to slide it through there, got his signals crossed with Cam Duke. Thought he was going to make the run that time. 10 minutes in, 0-0. Sporting KC have had a couple of decent chances so far. The first one within the first 90 seconds of the match. Ben Lunt, the goalkeeper for Phoenix, came up big with a save. And then Shallowy had a goal negated because he was offside. Cam Duke, who's earned some praise from Peter Vermees during preseason. All the way back to EC now. And here's Uri. Zusi. Whipping it across, looking for Shallowy, who gives a thumbs up but couldn't quite get on the end of it.
It's good possession, though, and we know Sporting Kansas City are going to play this way. They want the ball. Last season, it's just been the staple of this team. And to go back to EC, yes, when he was healthy, he was incredible. And Peter Vermees even said that, right, in a couple of those press conferences late in the season, that if EC was healthy, he would be up there in contention for Defender of the Year, just like Andreu Fontas was. If those two guys can stay healthy, maybe there is some depth now at center back, I think, as well. So if those two guys can be on the pitch, though, it's a great combination.
Great ball from Ndembe forward to Shallowy. Shallowy slots it home inside the far post. And Sporting Kansas City have taken a 1-0 lead here in Phoenix. A great ball down the left-hand side from the newcomer Logan Ndembe, and Daniel Shallowy looking to pick up right where he left off in 2021. Slots it home coolly.
You almost knew that was coming, right? With that first finish that he had, he's feeling it today. Good finish here to the back post. Great run. We know, think about Daniel Shallowy, what separates him from most other wingers is his movement, and he always wants to get in behind, but this is a calm finish there, exactly where you want it, low to the far post. And you mentioned a good ball too, and that's something that I'm sure those two will talk about, and learning those type of relationships, those cues that you don't have to say anything to him, you just know exactly what he's going to do, and that's a great sign right there. Good goal from Daniel Shallowy.
Well, you and I were talking at one of the training sessions that we've watched down here in Arizona, that on the right-hand side for Sporting KC, the understanding that Zusi and Russell have of one another is something that's apparent to watch through the course of games. And if Shallowy can find a partner like that on the left backside, in Ndembe getting the opportunity here today, that could really pose problems for other teams on both sides of the field then.
Exactly, and really Daniel had a great relationship with Luis Martins, Ramadou Dia as well last year, and Gadi Kinda. Let's not forget, Daniel and Gadi's movement was so good and connected.
Shallowy tried to slide it through that time to Shelton, but he was sandwiched nicely in between Manuel Madrid and Darnell King of the Phoenix Rising.
But that's going to take some time, right? That's something that Johnny and Graham have played together for so long that they know it's just instinctual. Where on the other side, you're going to have some times where you're off, and that's okay. As long as the two guys are talking to each other, talking with the bench, talking with Peter and Carey and learning all these things. But I have no doubt that just with the skill of both these guys, it's going to be a dangerous attack on that left side.
Well, we just saw that even veterans like Russell and Zusi can get their signals crossed, as that one went out for a goal kick. Sporting showing signs of pressure, so Phoenix playing it through the middle. Njai giving chase, but EC got there first and calmly taps it out for a throw-in. 15th minute here in Phoenix. Good start for Sporting Kansas City. Most of the action in the attack has come up the left-hand side through Daniel Shallowy. He has the lone goal of the match so far. Came in the 12th minute. Of course, Daniel, what a season he had a year ago. 16 goals, 8 assists for Daniel Shallowy after scoring just 1 goal combined in the previous 2 seasons. And he looks like he is eager to build on it even more. And we saw referee's assistant for today, Sam Kovson, raising the flag for offside. He denied Shallowy a goal moments ago, by the way. You might hear from that, from Daniel for that after the game.
We got to tell him that in the van on the way back to the hotel.
Man of many talents, Sam Kovson. Quarter of an hour in, though, what do you think of the start?
Great. But this is what we've been seeing in training and in the previous games. This first group has put in really good performances consistently in trainings as well. And it's basically exactly what I expected coming into this. Get that early goal. Also had a couple of other chances. Haven't given up too much here. And you see those relationships, and that's the most important thing in these preseason games. Get your fitness, build those relationships. Roger right now is out there talking to Cam Duke. it's exactly what you want to see here through the first 50 minutes.
A little bit of a stoppage right now because defender for Phoenix, Manuel Madrid, seems to be coming off for a knock that he has suffered in the game, so we might have a substitution for the Rising early on. Also, it looks like Kyrie Shelton has been subbed off for Sporting Kansas City, which means that Rauf Salifu has come into the game for SKC. Salifu is an interesting one because he's getting some opportunities at just 19 years old. He was signed by Sporting KC2 to an MLS Next Pro contract. That's the new league that Sporting KC2 will be playing in this year. The new initiative started by Major League Soccer for young developmental players. Of course, Sporting KC2 played in the USL for every season since their inception as Swope Park Rangers until this coming year. But anyway, Rauf Salifu, who's now playing at the center forward spot for Sporting KC, coming in for Kyrie Shelton here, so we'll have to wait and find out what the cause is of that. I don't think that was the plan coming into the game. They expected all these starters to go about an hour in this game. Salifu is from Ghana. He was the star player for a team called the Accra Lions FC, who were playing in the second tier of Ghanaian soccer last season and earned promotion to the Ghanaian Premier League largely because of the performance by the 19-year-old Salifu, who scored 21 goals in 28 games. Now, the level of competition is going to step up quite a bit, even to the USL level or MLS Next Pro level for him, but an intriguing player who's getting an opportunity here, of course, because Alan Pulido is out, as we mentioned earlier, for the season. Kyrie Shelton figures to be the starting number 9 for Sporting KC this year, and Peter Vermees said earlier this week that Sporting are close to signing another number 9, not to be the starter, but to provide depth at that position behind Kyrie Shelton. That signing has not been made yet, has not been brought in, and so Salifu gets a chance here to show what he can do. Meanwhile, a foul against Uri Russell, which will set up a free kick for the Phoenix Rising here in the 19th minute. Espinoza wins the first header. We've got a man down for Sporting away from the play as Ndembe clears it on. Still a man down for Sporting. I believe that's Isi, who's back up to his feet now, but trying to gather himself. This play has been stopped.
Sporting did a good job there handling that free kick. It's an area, especially on in preseason, you don't really work on defending these type of set pieces. Usually that's later, closer to the first game, but these guys still went over it a little bit yesterday, but it's not to the same attention of detail as normally it would be. But in that moment, they did a good job.
Well, we appreciate you joining us on the Sporting KC app or sportingkc.com today as Cam Duke is chopped down right in the center circle. We're going to have our first booking of the afternoon against the Phoenix Rising here. Chaston Channing is the guilty party. You might want to point out, if you are listening to this feed as well, you might be picking up some audio that sounds like some loud rumbling in the background. The NHRA Nationals, which is drag racing, is taking place within earshot of us, and those cars are very, very loud. Jacob Peterson, we've been hearing them in training sporadically over the last few days, and that might be going on for the next half hour or so. If you're noticing that noise and wondering what it is, there's some drag racing going on here close by. Meanwhile, Sporting building up. Ndembe trying to drive a ball in that is turned behind for a corner kick. This will be the first corner kick of the game for Sporting KC.
And Nate, that little passage right there. Training a couple days ago, Sporting were working on patterns. You do a lot of pattern work during preseason and work on this, and that was one of those patterns that they did, switching the ball over to Logan. Good passage of play from Sporting.
Russell driving it in. Found Roger Espinoza, who tries to keep it in. The flag has stayed down. A lot of players had stopped, and now a shot by Fontas deflects behind for a corner kick. The Phoenix Rising players are complaining. They felt the ball was out of play. But whether the call was correct or not, you play to the whistle, right?
Absolutely, and you do feel for Sam over there on that sideline. The sun is directly coming across there to his eye level.
EC won that header, but it wide of the target. And Njai, who's shown a nice turn of pace a couple of different times for Phoenix, bringing it up the field, but loses out. Taken back by Sporting. Here comes Salifu. Now Shallowy, now Espinoza with the left foot and into the stands.
If that one goes in from Roger on his right foot from outside the box there, I think Roger's going to run straight through the tunnel into the locker room and call that one a game.
Roger Espinoza, 35 years young now, going into his 12th season with Sporting Kansas City. Last year, appeared in 32 games.
He's an absolute beast. He's an absolute beast. And yes, he doesn't have the legs that he used to, but he does so much for this team. And he's got that bite. Players are afraid to play against him because he's so difficult to play with. He's great on the ball, but he'll get into you, as Sporting Kansas City fans all know. But he still has it. There's no doubt. I don't know if it's the same workload as he had last season. I think probably everybody, including Roger, will say, you know, maybe I can't do that. But if he's going to have 15, 20 games, you know exactly what you're getting from Roger, and I expect him to play the same level really that he always has.
Receiving word from the Sporting KC technical staff that the reason for Kyrie Shelton's exit from the game is described as precautionary. He had a little left calf tightness. Of course, in the preseason, you don't want to take any chances. So he was off to a really good start in this game. Here's a ball in by Shallowy. Makes it all the way to Espinoza on the backside and misplays it out for a throw-in. So we're disappointed. We wanted to see Kyrie. He was a person that on our Sporting KC show earlier this week that you could still check out on podcast if you're interested. We had a long interview with Peter Vermees about a lot of the different storylines in camp here. And he spent a lot of time really gushing about Kyrie and some of the ways he believes they can even better use him this year. Here's a good turn from Johnny Russell into the penalty area. And it's covered by the goalkeeper, Ben Lunt. But we were hoping to get to see that. And you could see some really good play from Kyrie in the 15 minutes that he was on the field. But they didn't want to take any chances, so he's out for the day.
No, that's a smart decision. Preseason, it's, yes, you're working on, you have certain goals going into each game, and you want to accomplish those. But ultimately, you need to come out of preseason, everybody healthy. And Kyrie had a great start to those first 15 minutes or so. But if anything's tight right now, this is the time to shut it down, get treatment, work on that. And then you can build your fitness in other ways. But you're right. I mean, Kyrie, you ask almost any guy on the field or any guy on this team, and they want Kyrie Shelton on the field somewhere. He's that important to this team. That's why he consistently finds himself getting important minutes and being a huge piece of this team.
Cam Duke closing down Kevin Lambert, the Jamaican for Phoenix, but the play is going to be brought back for a foul near the halfway line on Darnell King of the Phoenix Rising. And looks like we've got another substitution, and Rauf Salifu already subbed out of the game now as he's replaced by Ozzy Cisneros, who is an academy product for Sporting KC. He got some time with the first team last year in that match against Leon at Children's Mercy Park, but apart from that, spent the entire season with SKC2. Cisneros, just 17 years old, listed at 5'5", and even that might be a little generous, so not exactly the profile you usually would expect from a number 9. That's probably not his natural position, but that's where he'll be playing for now. Cisneros was the 4th youngest player ever to sign with Sporting KC. He was 16 years old last year when he signed his first team contract. Joined the academy at 12 years old back in 2016. Good high press from Sporting KC again. Espinoza, here's Cisneros. Left-footed shot is blocked by a sliding James Musa. And then a foul on Johnny Russell as he takes down Kevin Lambert on a slide. And so Russell will receive a booking. A decent chance there for Cisneros.
It was. Welcome to the game, right? It's always tough. You get thrown into the game like that, and two, you probably couldn't have two players who are different in their physical stature between Ozzy Cisneros and Kyrie Shelton, who was up there to start the game. But a good chance. Found that soft spot. At the end, though, couldn't get enough on it to really threaten the Phoenix goal. But it's a good player. It's just, you're right. Is he a number 9? Probably not. But I think he's still so young that there's definitely room for him to grow. And it's just about getting games, especially with Sporting Kansas City 2 this season.
Foul against Sporting KC this time around on Cam Duke. Well, Cam Duke was the man that was ready to take the ball up the field, as you see him jogging back. Cam Duke, number 28 there on your screen, was, as I mentioned earlier, lavished with some praise by Peter Vermees as one of the young players, 20 years old, who he believes has made some real progress from the end of last season to this preseason, which is what you want to see your young players do. Here's a good opportunity for Phoenix. King looking for the far post, and the shot is redirected home for the Phoenix Rising by Santi Moar. And the Rising have equalized here in the 28th minute.
I'll tell you, that was a good goal, actually, from Phoenix there. Good fast break. Just gets in behind Logan and Dembe there. Good squared pass across as well. Just a little simple little flick on there. King makes the right decision in that moment, squaring it, really giving Tim Melia no chance. And tell you what, that is a good finish as well. Nothing that Tim Melia can do about that one.
Santi Moar was the leading goal scorer for the Phoenix Rising a year ago. And this Phoenix team looking to overhaul their attack a little bit in terms of the guys that will be joining Moar in the attack, because they did not re-sign one of the most legendary players in their club's brief history, Solomon Asante, who was the team's all-time leading goal scorer, 2-time USL MVP. And so they are looking a little bit different in the attack. We haven't mentioned Claudio Repetto very much. He's playing and wearing the number 9 for the Rising in this game. He just joined the team this week. But Moar, one of the familiar faces for the Rising, and his first decent opportunity of the day, and he slotted it right home. So it's 1-1 right now as we approach the half-hour mark.
Now it'll be a good test, right, for Sporting. How do they react to that? They had a good opening 25 minutes or so. Phoenix gets a goal. How are they going to respond now? Are they going to lift the level, start getting on the ball, knocking it around? See, it's good action here in the preseason. You want to almost test guys and put them in these type of situations, because there's no doubt during the season something like this is going to happen.
And now a chance for Sporting to work on playing out of pressure again. Here's Ndembe, a bit of a heavy touch, but he's able to keep it. And now up the left-hand side, he picks out Daniel Shallowy.
It's a great ball.
Shallowy had a lot of space for Johnny Russell, but he could not get it over the head of Njai. And the Phoenix Rising reclaim possession here.
Yeah, but that's the right look, right?
Yep.
First, it was a great ball in from Logan and Dembe. Find Daniel Shallowy just behind the right back. Daniel does a good job, carries it inside. He knows exactly what to do with it there. These are the things, though, in preseason. You're not going to be as sharp as you are, but that's the right ball.
Might not be as sharp, but maybe the sound of those funny cars that you hear from the NHRA finals rumbling in the background as Ndembe's taken down from behind, and this is going to be a booking for the Phoenix Rising once again. Aiden Quinn is the man who goes in the book. There has been a substitution for the Rising as well. I mentioned playing and wearing the number 9, Claudio Repetto, who just joined the team. He's already been subbed off in favor of Greg Hurst. There you see Quinn. Thirty-second minute here at Phoenix Rising Stadium at Wild Horse Pass. Nate Bucati along with Jacob Peterson. This preseason friendly that is being played in an empty stadium. No tickets sold for this game today, so we're happy to bring the video stream to you on SportingKC.com and on the Sporting KC app. As Johnny Russell flicks a header towards the middle of the park. Lambert duking it out with Espinoza and Rosell, and a foul called on Sporting KC. Immediately taken back by the visitors, though. And here's Zusi. He was looking for the backside run by Daniel Shallowy, but just mishit at that time.
Such a typical Roger Espinoza play there. First gets whistled for that foul, but immediately, yes, he says his piece to the ref, but then he immediately gets on and goes and makes another tackle on a great one. Got stuck in to win the ball back for Sporting. Yeah, it's okay. You can yell at the ref. You can be upset in that moment, but as soon as the ball's in play, you've got to switch on, and that's exactly what Roger did.
Sloppy giveaway by the Phoenix Rising, and Daniel Shallowy had a go from about 25 yards away that just skipped wide of the target. Daniel Shallowy already has a goal here today and had eyes on another that time. Just a poor pass that time from James Musa. Preseason for the Rising as well. Everybody's working out the kinks right now. As KC fans will remember Musa, he was an integral part of the USL Swope Park Rangers team that made it to a conference final a few years ago. He got a couple of appearances with the first team for Sporting KC during his time in Kansas City. Musa spent last year with Minnesota United. This is his second stint with Phoenix. 34th minute. 1-1 the score. Daniel Shallowy in the 12th minute for Sporting. Santi Moar in the 28th minute for Phoenix. As SKC have a free kick. Russell plays it to the near side in Dembe. He drives a ball in just over the head of Shallowy. Now King, who's got an assist to his name today, plays it up the field. Rosell looks so calm, just right at home, playing the lone 6, which is a little different than what he was doing in Orlando. Here's Ndembe again. This time looking to the back post for Johnny Russell. Njai flicks it on, only as far as Graham Zusi, though. Now Rosell. Now Cisneros. Logan Ndembe. Fontas. Everybody in the attacking half for Sporting KC. The exception of the goalkeeper, Tim Melia. Now Zusi fakes the cross, drives into the penalty area. Another feint by Zusi. Now he clips it to the back post. Nobody there for Sporting, and it's turned behind for a corner kick as the Phoenix Rising players have words with one another about who was covering the back post that time. But what work from Graham Zusi.
How good is he? It's Graham Zusi. We talked about Roger Espinoza getting up there in age, and yes, Graham Zusi the same, but he had one of his best seasons last year with Sporting Kansas City. He was up and down. Excellent play.
Second corner on the night for Sporting, put in by Russell again, bouncing inside the 6-yard box before finally cleared away, and Dembe tried to drop the header on to Johnny Russell, but he puts it out for a throw-in. 36 minutes gone now. It's 1-1 between Sporting and Phoenix. Russell applying pressure once again. Lambert clears it up the field. Calistri bringing it diagonally across the halfway line in the center circle. Finds Aiden Quinn. Now Njai. Driving a ball in. Poked away by Fontas. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Lunt. Looking for Darnell King up the right-hand side. Can he keep it in? He does well to do so. Actually, not in the end. It will be out for a Sporting KC throw-in.
Say that's good pressure from Ozzy Cisneros there. It's hot out too, right? I mentioned it at the start, but it's still 80 degrees here out in Phoenix. The sun's on at least 3/4 of the field, and it's hot now. And I think that plays a role in this too. And the fact that Ozzy kept going, yes, he wasn't in there from the start, but he's the reason why that ball was eventually lost and possession was given back to Sporting Kansas City, just because of his work ethic there.
Offside flag up against Cam Duke this time. Shadows starting to stretch across the field, but really it's only on the near side, as you can see, and there is a big difference when you're in the desert between the sun and the shade. It's been a beautiful weather pattern here for the better part of a week, especially compared to freezing temperatures back in Kansas City, as Phoenix will have a corner kick now, their first of the night. Chance to work on some set-piece defending now for Sporting KC.
I think that is probably an area that, if you ask a lot of guys, Sporting could probably improve on this, both offensively and defending these, not giving up too much and trying to score a bit more goals there on the offensive end. Certainly wasn't a strength of theirs last season.
Phoenix trying to play short. Foul called on Espinoza, so they'll get a shortened corner kick in effect on this free kick here. Toward the back post it goes. It's saved in the end by Tim Melia. He could not keep it in play, though, and so a corner kick on the other side.
It's like a training session here, right, for Sporting. Had to deal with 3 of these now in a row. Something, though, with EC being out for a lot of last season, you think with him back in there, if he can stay consistently in the lineup, he's going to add so much to these on both ends, really.
Lambert got a touch to it. Johnny Russell flicked it away. The long-range shot saved by Melia. That came off the foot of Chaston Channing.
Tell you what, that's a good save. He hit that one well, connected with it, through bodies. Tim Melia, though, is able to focus and see that one. It's a good save, though, from Tim Melia.
Five minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the first half. It's 1-1. Really good action from Sporting KC over the first 15 minutes in the attack. And they got 1 goal to show for it from Daniel Shallowy on a great assist from newcomer Logan Ndembe. Kyrie Shelton subbed off quickly after that for precautionary reasons with tightness in his calf. He's been replaced by a couple of guys. First, it was Ralph Salifu, and then Ozzy Cisneros came on for Salifu. And the Phoenix Rising answering with a goal from Santi Moar, one of their best attacking threats. That was actually after some great play up the right-hand side by the right back, Darnell King, who got the assist on that play. And that's where we stand, 1 goal apiece late in the first half. Njai. Cheeky flick over the head of Zusi, who stays in the play and ends up getting called for the foul. Does the ageless veteran for Sporting, 35 years old as well, just like Roger Espinoza. Graham Zusi started 24 games last year. A little pushing and shoving here between Njai and Zusi as the parties are being separated.
See a replay here of it's a good little skill.
Oh, they're still going at it.
I think Graham, you could tell he was upset. Yeah, it's probably enough for a foul, but the way that he went down, I think that's something that Graham reacted to in the moment. Yeah, there's some contact, but there's not a whole lot. He went down easily. Thinks that's exactly what he's telling him. Even though, hey, it was a great little piece of skill over there, but if it upset Graham Zeus, he's not a guy who plays over the top emotionally, likes to get mixed up. Yeah, he'll get stuck in, but you don't see him doing this too much unless there was something in it. Do you like the headband that he's wearing this season, though?
Always got a flowing mane, Graham Zusi. As we're back underway, 44th minute now. Good work from Rizal, but the pass was a little overcooked that time for Ndembe.
That's something that you are not going to see very often this season with Uri Rosell. He's so good on the ball. We know that certainly that Ilie was. We know that Remy Voltaire can do that, having a couple games where he was 100% in his pass completion, but Uri's going to be up there in the 90s. And we know that Andreu Fontas is, and Isi last year also when he played was up above a 90% passing accuracy, which these numbers these are top 10 in the league of the best passers of the ball, and the fact that 3 of them are on this Sporting Kansas City team, you know exactly how this team wants to play and wants to keep the ball.
Another stoppage on the field now. Finally, a throw in for Phoenix as we're into the final minute of the first half with a 1-1 scoreline. Things getting a little chippy here over the last 5 minutes or so. Ball by Lunt, the goalkeeper, out of play for a throw in. Dembe pinned in on the sideline. It's up, getting a throw in out of it. Zusi volleys it forward for Cam Duke. Njai went in for the header. Duke goes to ground here. And I don't know if Njai might have caught him with a trailing hand, because it didn't seem to be that the contact was right there direct between Njai and Duke. We have reached the halftime whistle as all the parties are getting ready to gather for the break here, but Duke still slow to get up to his feet. Back up to his feet now. As at halftime, the score between Phoenix and Sporting Kansas City is 1-1.
I would say on the lower side. And not from the halftime playlist.
Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life, yeah. Cause I was sitting there but still wondering just one breath to say, you gotta get up, you gotta get off, you gotta get down, girl. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life, yeah. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life.
Back at halftime at Phoenix Rising Stadium at Wild Horse Pass in Phoenix, Arizona. Nate Bukaty along with Jacob Peterson. The score at halftime: Phoenix Rising FC 1, Sporting Kansas City 1. Sporting drew first blood as they had some good action in the first half. Kyrie Shelton, a decent opportunity and a good save from Ben Lunt from Phoenix to keep it scoreless. That came within the first 90 seconds of the game. Then this great action up the left-hand side, Jacob, from Ndembe to Shallowy.
Yeah, Daniel Shallowy, very active early on, setting up Kyrie Shelton, and then here, gets in alone, has a lot of time to think about this, right? But he still does exactly what you're taught, Low to the far post there. Perfect. Exactly what you want to see from Daniel Shallowy.
So that made it 1-0 in favor of Sporting in the 12th minute. Phoenix, though, turn a pace here from Darnell King and playing it across to Santi Moar, who slammed it home for Phoenix. And that made it 1-1, which is where we stand here at halftime. And we are back at Phoenix Rising Stadium at Wild Horse Pass in Phoenix, Arizona, getting set to start the second half, which is now underway. Sporting KC will be going from left to right as you look at your screen, dressed in the gray tops and black shorts. Same starting 11 for Sporting KC, with the exception of the fact that Kyrie Shelton was subbed out in the first half. Homegrown player Ozzy Cisneros is starting up top here in the second half for SKC, but apart from that, same starting 11 that started the game, and we're expecting them to go about an hour or so total in today's preseason friendly against Phoenix Rising. Logan Ndembe had an assist in the first half on the goal by Daniel Shallowy. Now back to Fontas. One of the best defenders in all of Major League Soccer in 2021, Fontas. Cisneros tried to turn, but lost out. Brazil pounces on the loose ball, lofts it to the near side, where it's chested down by Johnny Russell. Overlap to Zusi. Now back to Cam Duke. Now Rizal. Fontas. Out to Ndembe. He'll drive the cross in. Falls to Shallowy, try to turn. Shallowy still on it, and it is behind for a corner kick.
Seems like such an easy thing there, but the ball that Andreu Fontas played out wide to Logan Ndembe is so perfect. It's exactly the ball. It's close to the defender, which kind of holds him in there, but the defender can't reach it. And then it puts the rest of the Phoenix team under pressure there just from that ball and the pace that he hit it. That's why he should have won Defender of the Year.
In by Johnny Russell. He found Fontas that time, who put it over the bar. I think you and I both voted for Fontas on our ballots for Defender of the Year. He led Major League Soccer in the goals added stat, one of those new metrics that tries to measure the impact that you have in a game.
He was so good overall with the ball. Obviously, he's great with it. He knows exactly the right pass. So much of what Sporting did, so many of their goals came and they started because of him on the ball and being able to find the guy who's open, and not the easiest pass, but the right pass. And defensively, he was excellent as well, with really a few different center backs next to him as well. And the fact that he wasn't even a finalist for that, it is mind-blowing to me and to anybody who watched him play all season long. He was the Defender of the Year.
Here he is on the ball now. The biggest key for him, just getting healthy and staying healthy. Here's a giveaway by EC. He tries to pounce on it. It will be out for a Sporting Kansas City throw-in off of a newcomer for the Rising. Ivan Gutierrez has checked into the game. But all 11 players have been swapped out on the Phoenix side of things. We talked about everybody trying to get into fitness, and each team's trying to accomplish different things. And for head coach Rick Schantz of Phoenix Rising, he was out to get 45 minutes from his starting group, and he's done that. So wholesale changes on the Phoenix side, but for Sporting KC, we're going to wait for another 11 to 12 minutes or so. Here come the Rising. Breakaway opportunity and a shot that trickles just wide of the post off of the foot of David Loera, and goal kick for Sporting KC, as that was a decent opportunity for Phoenix.
It's a very good opportunity. A lot of time to think about it, just like Daniel Shallowy had in the first half. Actually hits it pretty well there, just drags it wide. Again, a little concerning how Sporting are letting the Phoenix players run through there unopposed. And yes, Logan Ndembe's pushing high, and we talked about his relationship with Daniel Shallowy and learning where to be on different lines, but also developing that with Andreu Fontas as well. And I'm not saying in that moment right there was any miscommunication or anything, just in general, that as these two play more and more together, they're going to become more, just as we saw Luis Martins and Fontas were, who were on the same page so much of every single game.
Here's Roger Espinoza for Sporting KC. Ball finds its way to Cam Duke. Out wide now, Johnny Russell with the left foot. Shot sails into the stands. Will be a goal kick.
I'm never going to say that Johnny Russell should not take that shot, because we know that Johnny Russell can score that one, and consistently, and it's not something that it's too far out for him, and he shouldn't be taking that. But right there in that moment, Graham Zusi made the great overlapping run, which allowed Johnny Russell to get onto his preferred left foot. But if he plays Graham there, then Graham's in one-on-one. But that's so easy for me to say here, sitting up and watching them do it.
This is Greg Hurst on the ball for Phoenix. He is one of the newcomers for this Phoenix side as they try to rebuild that attack. Brought in from Union Omaha, which was a team that played in USL League One. They won the championship last year, so he's looking to make a jump in levels. And I saw that Rick Shantz, the head coach for Phoenix, said that he believes that Greg Hurst can score 7 to 10 goals this year for Phoenix. Tim Melia in the shade now. Zusi on the near side. All the way back to Melia. Dembe battling the sun, but able to bring it down.
He made that look so easy. That was so difficult. That ball was in the air for so long, and he's looking right into the sun, and he still takes the perfect touch.
That allows Sporting KC now to bring it across the halfway line. It's Uri Russell. Now Russell wearing the captain's band, chipping it into the channel for Zusi. He gets shouldered off the ball, and it will be out for a goal kick. Foul on Phoenix as Sporting will restart. Again, if you're just joining us, Sporting KC getting ready for the 2022 MLS regular season campaign, which gets underway on February 27th. That's a Sunday at Atlanta United. National television game on FS1. Schedule this year, Major League Soccer, which continues to expand and grow. 28 teams will be in the league this year with the addition of Charlotte. Nashville will move to the west, so we'll have even numbers in the East and West this year with 14 teams apiece.
And we'll have even numbers, but we probably won't have level talent between both conferences, as Nashville, one of the better teams in the East, moving over. And of course, an expansion team coming in, who generally expansion teams do not do well. I expect, again, the West is going to be the best conference this season.
Oh, it's so interesting to see how some expansion teams seem to hit the ground running. We talk about Sporting playing Atlanta United. They certainly did that. You were a part of that. But other teams like FC Cincinnati that really, really struggled to get off the ground. So we'll see where Charlotte falls into that mix. One thing we do see is great crowds. Austin FC, for example, they didn't have a successful field when it came to their wins and losses on the field last year in MLS, but right off the bat, they seem to create one of the most electric atmospheres in all of Major League Soccer. And here's a foul on Cam Duke as he'll go in the referee's notebook, taking down Ryan Flood from behind that time.
Of course, so there are, again, different levels of expansion. Austin, yes, they didn't win, but you know the style that they want to play. What Josh Wolf is there, they have an identity. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but they can build off of that, where you've seen others. FC Cincinnati's in their, what, 4th expansion year, basically? Each year it's a complete reset. Just a very different way. And yes, I've seen it in Atlanta, but besides Atlanta and LAFC and the Chicago Fire back in the day, those expansion teams are towards the bottom end of the standings.
Arturo Rodriguez trying to curl it toward the back post. It was claimed by Melia, who quickly fires it out up the left-hand side for Logan and Dembe, but it's out for a throw-in, just a little too far in front of his new teammate. Maybe that's one of those things that And Dembe will still be learning is how quickly Tim Melia looks to get things going the other way after he's able to grab a ball like that. Another blast from the NHRA Nationals on the racetrack just over the far side of the stadium here in Phoenix. Sporting look to play out of the back now. Zusi. Now in Dembe. A lot of space up the left-hand side. And for Russell, left it back nicely for Ndembe into the penalty area, cutting it back for Duke, and Duke is denied by a diving save by Ben Lunt. Or was that blocked off the line actually before it got to Lunt? What a play.
Thing is, I don't care right now in preseason about whether that ball went in the back of the net or not. What I care about was this interchange and the way that Sporting created this opportunity, because that is what you can replicate throughout the season, because that was excellent.
Corner kick makes it to the far side. Lunt comes out to claim it.
Nate, going back to that play, everything about that was perfect. The way that Sporting built out of the back here in tight spaces when Phoenix stepped up, and then switching it all the way, getting Logan Ndembe. Great little 1-2 with Johnny Russell right, and then he made the right decision. Didn't cross it immediately, got to the end line and cut it back for Cam Duke, who was arriving, and actually his finish was a good one too.
Duke found Zusi that time. First cross in was blocked, then he tries to have a go with the left foot. I've certainly seen Graham Zusi score some phenomenal goals with that left peg, but this time it goes wide of the target. How do you feel about the way Sporting KC have come out here to start the second half?
Good, and especially that. I think you could clip up that one piece of film right there and show the group after, if you're Peter Vermees and his coaching staff, because that was perfect. That's exactly the type of idea that Sporting wants to try to do as many times as they can throughout a season. And if you do it in preseason once, you're lucky, and Sporting Kansas City done it consistently.
Cam Duke working his way into traffic. He almost picked out Daniel Shallowy, but was denied on the backside. Still Sporting KC win it back in the attacking third. Shallowy looking for Espinoza. Back out for Ndembe right in front of the corner flag. Shallowy with a cheeky turn into the penalty area. He goes sliding it across, but he couldn't find anybody. Duke was the closest man to it. It's out for a throw-in.
So close again. Again, for me, yes, every single player out there and every single coach wants Sporting Kansas City to leave this starting group, to leave the field up a goal. But it's creating these opportunities right there. If you get in those moments in preseason, that's the most important thing, because the finishing and really the final stuff in the 18-yard box, that comes at the very end.
Looks like we might have that full lineup change for Sporting Kansas City coming in the next 30 seconds or so. So a last passage of play for Sporting KC, and they almost come up with a goal again. Shallowy is denied by another save by Lunt. We have a foul that's coming back toward the top of the D here, so Sporting KC will have a chance maybe at one last set piece before they make their changes. Their Espinoza was taken down before the shot by Shallowy.
A referee there lets the play continue, but then if it's not a goal, calls it back. And saw Johnny Russell working on these yesterday after training. He's so good at these consistently, though, and if every fan saw how good he is.
And it bangs off the post. Johnny Russell inches away from another one of those beautiful set-piece goals.
Exactly that. If every fan could see him consistently do those, you would not be surprised that he hit the post right there. He's so good. He could go both sides. Excellent free kick there from Johnny whipping it over the wall.
You can see the reaction as Russell now takes the corner kick. It's flicked away. Zusi drops it across to Ndembe. But on that replay, we can see Johnny Russell started walking off. He thought he had put that one home. And he wasn't far off. Just denied by the woodwork. As we're in the 62nd minute, the Sporting KC starters were supposed to go about an hour, and they look like they want to stay out. This one will go off of the head of Ndembe and out for a throw-in, and that will lead us to the full 11-player swap out here. Although we might see Cisneros stay in. Again, he was called into duty because of the injury to Kyrie Shelton. But everybody else amongst that starting 11 will make their way off the field now, including goalkeeper Tim Melia. There you see youngster John Pulskamp coming onto the field. What did you think of the performance, just over an hour of work, from the Sporting KC starters?
I think if you asked all the players, yes, there was maybe a period there between maybe the last 15 minutes of that first half, maybe, that they probably could have said, oh, we should do better. But the way that they played this 15 minutes was excellent. The way that they started the game, those first 15 minutes were excellent. I think there are plenty of good things here to build off of. And yeah, you can clean up the other parts of it, but I think overall, especially, you mentioned it though, Nate, I think a lot of those guys, they wanted to stay on, right? Because the momentum was there. They were creating opportunities, and that's almost perfect though. Get them off where they're still craving more and more, because that end was excellent performance from Sporting.
This is the kind of thing you could do in a preseason friendly with no fans in the stands and a completely unofficial game. Rauf Salifu is back into the game for Sporting KC. He came out and played a few minutes after the Kyrie Shelton injury. Then Sporting KC technical staff decided to put Ozzy Cisneros at the center forward spot, so they brought Salifu back off the field. Well, now that all the subs have been swatched out, there is Salifu with a touch on it right there. He's gone back to the center forward spot, and Cisneros has moved out wide right. So I'll try to give you all the players that are on the field for Sporting Kansas City now, as you see Spencer Glass working his way inside. Now Courtney Ford on the ball, and he plays it over to Robert Volader. So those are two of the newcomers for Sporting KC. Jake Davis up pressuring the ball on SKC's behalf. Now Ben Sweat, free agent newcomer for Sporting KC, as a foul is called against Phoenix. So here we go. In goal is John Pulskamp, right to left, Caden Pierre, Courtney Ford, Robert Volader, and Ben Sweat. The defensive midfielder for this game is Kaveh Rod. We've mostly seen him as a center back, but preseason, maybe taking a look at guys at different positions. And then the two attacking midfielders, academy player Javen Van de Vetter and Jake Davis. And then the forward trio from right to left, Ozzy Cisneros, Rauf Salifu, and Spencer Glass for Sporting KC. And barring an injury, you would think these would be the 11 players to see this one out in what is right now a 1-1 scoreline. Here's Spencer Glass bringing it down up the left-hand side. Glass, who spent 5 years at the University of Indiana and was a 3-time All-Big Ten selection, scouted and identified by Brian Bliss. Peter Vermees with us on the Sporting KC show yesterday, really giving Brian Bliss a lot of credit. They like what they've seen from Spencer Glass so far in camp and believe he's MLS material. A couple of academy products, homegrown players, and Caden and Pierre and Jake Davis on the right-hand side now.
And Nate, I got to correct you, Indiana University. Just
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. Boy, I'm lucky you didn't throw me out of the booth for that.
I know, but hey, you mentioned it. Spencer Glass has been, for me, yes, I reached out to the coaches at IU to just get a little bit of background. They said great things about him. Said he's a great pro, a guy who's ready, they thought, to come in and play at the MLS level. Yes, he was signed with SKC too, but if you ask the players and these coaching staff, he has been a revelation almost. He can play in a couple different spots, probably, yes, naturally a left back, but we've seen him play in central midfield as well, and out on the wing. He's just a good soccer player. And if he's a good soccer player like that, you want to get him out on the field.
There you saw the replay of the goal by Santi Moar, which was the equalizer for Phoenix Rising in the first half. Both goals in this game came in the first half. Now, all 22 players have been swapped out for both teams. Yes, I am sitting here next to two-time national champion and Indiana University alum Jacob Peterson. So how dare me? Because I know that's the thing. That's the thing. It is not University of Indiana. I should have known better. Here's Ben Sweat. He's from South Florida. That's where he went to college. Signed as a free agent for Sporting this offseason. Coming back from an ACL injury, Ben Sweat. They're trying to manage his minutes in this preseason. Courtney Ford. Now to Cave Rod. Now Caden Pierre, 18-year-old. He's got some pace up that right-hand side. He'll be the understudy to Graham Zusi most likely this season.
There are quite a few guys on this lineup out there for Sporting who I'm really excited to see them play more. Ben Sweat, of course, coming back from injury, but when he was healthy, a very good player in Major League Soccer. And of course, Bolader and Courtney Ford, two new center backs, a lot of experience. I think a lot of upside too for really young players. And Caden Pierre on the right back spot, so much potential. Yes, Graham Zusi's not giving away that spot anytime soon, but with the offseason trade of Jalen Lindsey to Charlotte, there's an opportunity there for Caden Pierre to get minutes. And I think the coaching staff and the players all think that he's ready to take that next step. His potential might be the highest out of any of these Sporting Kansas City academy products.
Well, Pierre and Jake Davis just combined to knock it out of bounds for a throw-in for Phoenix. Salifu trying to pressure Jonathan Levin, who is on that back line now for Phoenix. Rodriguez dispossessed by Rod. Salifu taken down by Levin, and Levin will be issued a yellow card here in the 69th minute.
Nice pressure there, winning the tackle from Cave Rod, sending Sporting Kansas City out on the break, and Yen sets up a free kick, but all started because of that tackle right here. Aggressive, yeah, contact, but not enough for a foul, but getting stuck in. Yes, he's a center back, but hey, I think we've seen him play there a little bit. Maybe he can add maybe that different position part to his game as well.
And a man down for Phoenix Rising here in advance of this set piece for Sporting KC.
There's not much sun left on the pitch. The only sun isn't that far from
While they're taking a look at the injured player, we could give you some more nuggets about this upcoming schedule. In Major League Soccer, they had to shift the calendar a little bit this year because for the first time ever, the FIFA Men's World Cup is going to be played in November and into December in Qatar. So the MLS season starting a little early. We mentioned Sporting KC's first game of the regular season will be on February 27th, and MLS Cup will take place in early November, November 5th. No international break this time in the postseason. The MLS playoffs will take place over 3 uninterrupted weeks, so they're really going to smash that season together a little bit. Interestingly enough, though, not very many midweek games that Sporting KC will have to deal with, at least not on the MLS calendar. 11 games on Saturday at home for Sporting KC, 4 on Sunday, and only 2 midweek matches. So we got back underway here. Davis putting a ball in. He was looking for Ben Sweat, who nods it behind for a goal kick.
Something, too, that I didn't realize until you get to talk to him and meet him in person is Ben Sweat. He's taller.
Yeah.
He's got some height to him, which he can be an asset both on defending set pieces and attacking ones as well. And that's something that not a lot of outside backs have, that height, and Ben Sweat does.
Sweat signed as a free agent back in December. He was originally a draft pick of Columbus, but wasn't able to get a foothold there. Had to do some time in NASL with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Made the jump to MLS with NYCFC in 2017. Spent 3 years there. Then was taken by Miami in the expansion draft. Then he was traded to Austin, an expansion team. And now with Sporting Kansas City as a free agent. Chance for the Phoenix Rising here, and a kick save, and a nice one from John Polskamp that time. All pinballs around before being cleared on by Robert Volader.
And that was a big-time save from John Polskamp back there. We know we talked about him hopping in, getting experience last year, which I think was big for him. Obviously, Tim Melia is the starter. Everybody knows that, but John Polskamp's got a huge future as well. That was a big-time save in a tough position.
This was Luis Seijas for Phoenix Rising. And the save by Polskamp, the 20-year-old out of Bakersfield, California.
That save right there, Nate. Perfect, though. To always say it with Tim Melia, don't beat yourself. John Polskamp did not beat himself there. Stayed big. It's good goalkeeping.
Here's Javen Van de Vetter. Turned over by Sporting KC. Good sliding tackle that time by Jake Davis. Here's Ben Sweat, now back to Robert Volader, the 20-year-old brought in from NK Maribor, which was in the Slovenian first division. Volader played every minute for them in this season before making the transfer to the United States. Sporting KC trying to add some depth at that center back position. We talked earlier about the departure of Elie, who came to Sporting KC as a 6, but spent the majority of last season filling in on the back line, much of the time when Isimat Mirin was out with hamstring injuries. So with Elie gone, they needed some more depth at center back. Brought in Courtney Ford, a Kansas City native. He's starting at right center, or he's playing at right center back right now. And Volader, a 20-year-old, as I mentioned, German native who's been playing in Slovenia. Major League Soccer with their U22 initiative, really trying to incentivize bringing young talent that's on the rise from all over the world. And we've seen so many players, both American and foreign-born, who have really blossomed in Major League Soccer. They want to continue to bring players like that in. Sporting KC hoping that Volader could be one of those types of players.
I do think, too, it's important to young players coming to, even if they played in another country from where they grew up, most of these players coming over here, journeying across an ocean really for the first time. Culture's different. You have to get into not just the tactics on the field, but just how to live in America. It's different. So expectations shouldn't be to come out there and be the best player on the field, but I think there's talent there. I think if you watch even a Courtney Ford, who still coming over from Colorado, had a couple of seasons that were lost due to injury, even though before that he was a young player on the rise. But it's going to take time. I mean, this back four back here, just for instance, has played together what, maybe one time in a scrimmage for 30 minutes. You know, they haven't had that same time to learn the other player, what the other player wants to do, where they want the ball. So it can't be, this group is going to struggle a little bit more than the first group is, and that's okay. And the more reps that they get, the better that these players will get and learn Peter Vermes' system, because it's a difficult one to learn.
Just under a quarter of an hour remaining in this one. It is 1-1. There has been no scoring in the second half to this point. Both sides have completely swapped out their original 11 players. Volodare plays it forward to Rod, who tried to send it wide, but it is stolen by Rodriguez for Phoenix. Here comes Seijas. Driving it across. Ford clears it away. Now Spencer Glass brings it down. There's a poor touch from Salifu to give it away. Long range effort over the bar from Phoenix. That was from Gutierrez. There's Courtney Ford on the ball. 26 years old, Courtney Ford, originally from Olathe, Kansas, but moved as a kid out to Colorado, where he then went to college at Denver University, played with the Rapids. Able to sign as a free agent with his hometown team, Sporting Kansas City, less than a month ago. And Peter Vermes said that he's a little partial to guys who have gone through some things in life. That's certainly the case with Courtney Ford. We'll talk more about that as the season goes on. But Spencer Glass trying to drive a ball in that's over everybody and out for a goal kick. There was a nasty tackle in the middle of the field. The foul is called on Cave Rod. Interesting, Rod with the initial foul, then Rodriguez went right through Jake Davis, but that was after the original foul.
I think Jake Davis got the worst out of that, right?
Yeah.
Do you think, though, referee, there was some contact there, which what sent the Phoenix player into Jake Davis? And it's another player who, he's got that bite, Jake Davis does, and he's got that competitive spirit in there. And he's got, of course, just like any younger player, has some things to work on, but, man, I love the way that when he gets onto that field, the way that he wants to win, the competitor that he is, get stuck in. I think there's going to be a role for Jake Davis. It's just up to him to figure out exactly how big that role is going to be.
Courtney Ford looking for the long switch up the left-hand side. Taken back by Phoenix, though. Sliding tackle from Ben Sweat, but that puts it behind for a goal kick. Sporting do have more newcomers, they believe, on the way. And really what you have right now are three attacking players who are probably not playing in their primary position. Spencer Glass on the left wing, Ozzy Cisneros on the right. Salifu probably will figure to play a lot of center forward as Spencer Glass nods this behind for a corner kick. Or
penalty.
He is called a handball against Sporting Kansas City. So a penalty coming up for Phoenix here in the 81st minute.
Kind of hard to tell exactly from our angle over here. It's on the far side. Spencer Glass there was 2v1, trying to recover, trying to get his block down. Yeah, I mean, he didn't know anything about that. It's not like he was purposely trying to make himself bigger, but his arm was up. I think that is the right call from the referee.
So it's going to be Rodriguez for Phoenix against Polskamp for Sporting. And Rodriguez sends the keeper the wrong way and knocks it home. And the Phoenix Rising have taken a 2-1 lead here in the 81st minute. Bad luck for Spencer Glass, who, as Jacob said, didn't know much about it. Calmly taken here by Rodriguez.
Good penalty there, sends John Polskamp the wrong way. And without that added pressure of the fans in the stadium, penalties are pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie. But hey, he still had to keep his nerve up there and slot it past John Polskamp, who knows a pretty good goalie himself. And yeah, it was unlucky for Spencer Glass, right? I think the bigger problem is how is Sporting letting now Phoenix get in those counter-attacking spots really 3 or 4 times this game.
I was getting ready to talk about the fact that Sporting KC, with their attacking players, hope to have some help coming when it comes to that depth right now with Marinos Chionis, who is a Cypriot winger. A Cypriot is someone from Cyprus. Jacob, I've learned, it's a great thing about this game, it helps you learn some geography, learn some vocabulary as well. And Chionis is a player that Sporting are very excited to get here. And as I mentioned earlier, Peter Vermees has also said that he believes they are close to landing another number 9 as well. As the drag races continue in the background, Sporting KC winning a tackle in the midfield. Sweat taken down, though, and a foul called against Phoenix Rising.
The younger group like this for Sporting don't have all the pattern play down like the first team would. Maybe it's going to take a set piece like this. So it's how you get your goal a little bit easier than to build something up from scratch, because, like I said, that just takes a long time. I mean, took me probably a couple years to truly understand Peter Vermees' system, and these guys have had, what, 4 weeks to do it? It's just not going to happen.
You know, if you're lucky enough to go to training, you will see those stretches in training with the plastic dummies out there on the field and the players working through some of those passing sequences that you reference. And you can always tell when the Sporting players have been around long enough, they can do that stuff almost with their eyes closed. It's going to be a set piece taken by Jake Davis here. Long range effort is tipped over the bar off the foot of Javen Van Deventer. Well, he struck that cleanly.
Van Deventer got all of that one, right? And it was a good save, too. It had some swerve on the ball. Goalkeeper there just gets enough on it, but we had a perfect angle from right behind the goal to see him hit that. It's a good save.
It looked like that was about to dip under the bar.
It was.
If not tipped over. And so a corner kick for Jake Davis to take here in the 85th minute. Ooh, when he just goes over the head of Courtney Ford. If you're wondering, you don't recognize the name Javen Van Deventer. 18-year-old, originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He was the one that had that shot on the ball that got tipped over the bar. He was a young man who joined the Sporting KC Academy through the club's Center of Excellence at 12 years old. He is now the ripe old age of 18 and getting a good opportunity here to train in Arizona with the first team. He's got some time with SKC2 in the past year. He actually just went and joined the United States U20s at the IMG Academy in Bradenton at the end of January before joining the first team here. So another one of those academy products trying to work his way into consideration with the first team. So he might have really turned some heads had he been able to convert that long-range goal attempt, but it was certainly a good strike. Now a foul on Pierre for Sporting Kansas City. Another 18-year-old from the academy. Caden Pierre, though, not 18 for much longer. He turns 19 on February 26th, coming up in just a couple of days, a few days, I should say. There, Pierre wins the header. Rod back to Ford and over to Volodare. Just 4 minutes or so remaining in this one. Phoenix taking the 2-1 lead on the penalty. Unlucky play from Spencer Glass. He was called for the handball. His ball was, if he made a mistake on the play, putting his arms up over his head as he went into that slide. Tough to control where your arms go when you're lunging into a slide like that, I would guess.
Yeah, I can't fault him at all for that, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he is a fellow Hoosier, as we spoke about. But even you're sprinting back, you're trying to get the block on, you're tired. Sometimes soccer, that happens sometimes.
Here's Pierre. Now Cisneros. Now Van de Venter, who has come the closest to finding that second goal for Sporting KC. Jake Davis giving chase into the corner here. Helps win it back. Pierre. He drives the ball in. It's over the head of Glass. Then Sweat corrals it on the backside. Combining with Glass again. Sweat clipping it in. Dangerous ball there, headed away by Flood. Now Pierre. Good job by the goalkeeper for Phoenix. Well, it almost was a good job by the goalkeeper for Phoenix. It does cross the byline. So another corner for Sporting KC coming up here as we are in the 88th minute. Sporting chasing a goal. Of course, the final score in this one is going to be unimportant. In by Davis, over everyone's head. Volodare tracks it down. He drives it back in. Oh, Sweat tried the scissor kick. Difficult technique to pull off, and it's out for a goal kick.
He went for glory, right?
Yeah.
It was the right opportunity there. Ball's coming up, decent pace to it, but not too hard. It's still a very difficult skill there. Something that I certainly never would have attempted. I knew that I didn't have that in my locker. I like, though, that Ben Sweat's got that confidence.
He just got 2 games into his season with Austin last year when he suffered the torn ACL. And so he missed the entire rest of the season and is working his way back now. And that's one of the things Peter Vermees says. He's really liked everything he's seen from Ben Sweat, but he feels that it's still very important at the early stages of his return not to put too much on that reconstructed ACL.
And two, he just needs some consistency, right? He was a very good player,
yes,
for NYCFC, and then had those 2 years at expansion clubs, and we talked about it. That's difficult.
It was a bad giveaway by Volodare that time. Phoenix coming forward with it now. Toward the back post it goes, and did Pulskamp get a piece of that? No, he did not. It will be a goal kick. Decent opportunity that time for Phoenix here in the 90th minute.
It was a very good opportunity there, but really just came from a simple giveaway immediately on the counter. But I'm excited to see what Ben Sweat's going to be here now that, again, same thing with the any new player coming to a team. Expectations shouldn't be through the roof. You should let him build into it because we know that he's got that in there. We've seen it at this level. And just as a person, as another guy who's a good pro, I think it was a really good signing for the team.
We could be coming up on the final whistle here any moment in this preseason friendly. Pierre on the right-hand side. Nice ball through for Davis, but Davis couldn't quite get on the end of it. It was a good idea from Pierre, but just a little heavy on the touch. And that will bring us to the final whistle, where Sporting Kansas City fall to Phoenix by a score of 2-1. Jacob, your final thoughts on today's preseason friendly?
Well, first off, the score doesn't matter. And I know that maybe, hey, if they won 2-1 or 3-1, I would be saying something different, but that is not true. The score does not matter. It's about these performances. I think Sporting Kansas City had a good performance throughout that game. Second group, still figuring some things out. That's expected, no worries, but I think guys got their fitness, their minutes in here, and they put together some really good passages of play, some ideas that they can look to build on here for these next 2 weeks of preseason.
So one more preseason game coming up on February 19th for Sporting KC against Toronto FC. That'll be in Austin, Texas. And then the big MLS opener, February 27th for Sporting Kansas City in Atlanta. Then they will return home for the season opener on March 5th. For Jacob Peterson, this is Nate Bucati saying thanks for watching, and we will see you in the regular season. Sporting KC fall to Phoenix in this preseason friendly by a final score of 2-1. So long, everybody.